Coming up, the verdict is in for the man accused of killing a London police officer.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. We begin tonight with breaking news out of Warren County, where the verdict was returned less than an hour ago for the man accused of driving drunk and killing London police officer Logan Medlock. Casey Bird was found guilty on all charges. Again, guilty on all charges. Earlier today, jurors heard from the accused as he took the witness stand. Bird was emotional, recounting the events of the night that he admittedly got behind the wheel while blacking out from a night of drinking. Bird recalled drinking between 8 and 10 beers, as well as taking 5 to 6 shots of bourbon before driving away from a party. As a corrections officer, he remembers telling officers on the scene, quote, "I was on the same side."
I knew that it was a short trip, and the road I had come in on, like I said, was a kind of a back road, rural road, and I just thought I could make it.
You remember the drive?
Not really. No.
The jury also heard from Bird's attorney and the Laurel County Commonwealth's attorney. The defense, arguing for a lower sentence, did not avoid the fact that Bird was drinking and driving, but they argue that the case has been handled unfairly due to the victim's status as a police officer.
All of these items of evidence that I bring to you, I bring not to exonerate Casey Bird. I bring these to you so that you can accurately determine whether this is extreme indifference to the value of human life. That is what is required for murder.
You know who else would have been arrested for this one, Sloan? Casey Bird. You know who else would have been arrested if they didn't run through the red light? Casey Bird. You know who else would have been arrested if they weren't drinking and driving? Casey Bird.
The prosecution claimed that no matter the victim's career, it does not change Bird's actions. With his speed of more than 70 miles per hour and his blood alcohol level more than 0.3, they say the case was clear-cut. People in London are still mourning the loss of Officer Medlock as the 2-year anniversary of the crash approaches.
Oh, it was devastating. Anytime a first responder loses their life in the duty where they protect and serve, so when they're killed in the line of duty, it's devastating.
Again, the breaking news tonight, Bird was found guilty on all charges. We are still waiting to learn about the sentencing.
All right, we're seeing a couple stray showers on live pinpoint Doppler radar at the 11 o'clock hour. Let's go ahead and hit the maps, and you can see over towards portions of Clay County, a little bit of Knox County, a little bit of Whitley County, going into portions of Campbell County and Tennessee, seeing a stray shower or two across the area. That's it in terms of rain for the next hour or so. We'll keep that chance in there for the next couple hours, but again, very, very few and far between. The majority of us right now staying mostly cloudy, and where that rain's coming from is from Tropical Depression Debbie. The extreme outer edge of it is going through portions of eastern Kentucky. Made it into the 80s, even low 90s today. 90 in Ashland, otherwise upper 80s from Moorhead down to Irvin. Somerset made it to 88, 82 in Williamsburg, 86 in Manchester. We're in the 60s and 70s right now, making for a nice, mild evening out there. When we wake up in the morning, temperatures in the 60s and 70s will be the rule. I'll have the complete first alert forecast coming up in a few minutes. Steve.
Eric, thanks. 2 years after being damaged during the July 2022 flood, one Head Start building is reopening in Knott County. WYMT's Amelia Lee checked out the newly renovated building this afternoon.
A day that could not come sooner. The reopening of Perkins Head Start in Hindman. Staff members say the damage from the flood 2 years ago was unimaginable.
There was nothing that was saved, nothing.
The devastation
was just catastrophic.
Billy Sloan says the entire building had to be gutted from floor to ceiling.
I remember walking in here and just seeing steel beams, and that was it. There was no even definition that there was classrooms here.
The entire bottom half of the building had to be redone, but now things are even better than before.
Everything is brand new. Every single thing in this entire building is new.
While reconstruction was going on, children who normally attended Perkins were transferred to Perry County, a 30 to 45-minute drive for some families.
We service a lot of lower-income families, and that gap from this community to there, it put a hardship on a lot of the families.
Busing was offered for preschool-age students. Families with babies and toddlers had to drive them to school, but that was not a permanent solution.
Convenience is everything. When parents have high-quality education services near to home, it's just so helpful, and parents depend on us.
Sloan says she has been anxiously awaiting the reopening of Perkins Head Start.
It feels so good to be home. Like, there's just no better feeling than to be here.
Starting the school year off right. In Knott County, Amelia Lee, WYMT Mountain News.
Early Perkins Head Start children go back to school on August 12th. Preschool-aged kids go back on August 19th. The sheriff's office in Whitley County is investigating a break-in and robbery. The sheriff says someone broke into a man's home early Wednesday morning, attacked him, and then stole his money and his SUV. That vehicle may have been spotted in Tennessee. Investigators are not sure where exactly it is or where the suspects are, but they say they have good evidence in the case.
We don't feel this was a random incident. We feel that the victim was targeted specifically. We don't feel anybody else in the area is in danger.
The sheriff says he believes it's likely more than one person was responsible for the home invasion. The victim was taken to the hospital and is expected to be released soon. Some street signs in Prestonsburg turned up missing a second time shortly after being replaced. The police chief says beginning about a month ago, close to 20 signs were stolen in the overnight hours in and around downtown. He says the total cost to replace the signs is more than $1,000. The chief says some of the signs were recovered at a home this afternoon, but the suspect was not there. Kentucky is ranked one of the best in the nation when it comes to the number of pharmacies on street corners. We are third per capita, trailing just New York and West Virginia. Despite those numbers, pharmacists we talk to say stores are closing and there's little relief in sight. Kristen Kennedy investigates the state of pharmacies in the Commonwealth.
I get phone calls literally daily of pharmacies that are considering closure.
Dr. Ben Mudd used to work in a retail pharmacy. Now, as the executive director of the Kentucky Pharmacists Association, he advocates for them.
Pharmacies are filling more prescriptions than they ever have, but they're not making enough money to keep the lights on and pay their folks.
Not only are we seeing under reimbursement for the drug, we're not getting paid dispensing fees. So it's not just about the cost of the drug, it's also what it costs to have employees and have an actual location for people to visit, have a pharmacist that they can talk to.
Dr. Shelley Roberts started Grassroots Pharmacy with her husband 7 years ago. She says since then, costs have risen, reimbursements have fallen. In the past 2 years, 80 independently owned pharmacies like Grassroots have closed their doors for good. That's according to the Kentucky Pharmacists Association. This on top of CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid closing stores and slowing their own growth.
There is some hope. The governor signed Senate Bill 188 earlier this year. It restricts pharmacy benefit managers, PBMs. They negotiate all prescription drug sales and keep a portion of the proceeds.
Do you believe the bill that's going to go into effect in January will put an end to the problems that pharmacists have with PBMs?
I don't think this is the end, but I think that it will help tremendously.
The bill won't go into effect until January 1st. Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
Several years ago, Kentucky passed a law cutting PBMs out of the state's Medicaid program. Senate Bill 188 has similar restrictions, but this time on private health insurers. More than 12 schools in Laurel County opened their doors today to start the new school year. Thousands of students in the county were excited to return to the classroom and ready to learn. Students also got a surprise as schools welcomed them back with pep rallies.
Because we decided to start out the school year with a pep rally. So we got the kids here, we took attendance, did a few things, and then we had our classes in the gym.
North Laurel High School and London Elementary were some of the schools in Laurel County to have back-to-school pep rallies. Students in Laurel County are not the only ones back in classrooms. Jackson, Clay, Magoffin, and other school systems started the new year today as well. Several school systems are also starting next week, including Harlan, Whitley, and Perry counties. We have a full list of start dates on WYMT.com. An outreach in Prestonsburg is asking the community to step in to be part of its mission to give back. The IOOF 293 Community Outreach has been working to provide families with clothes, cleaning items, food, and more. But with the beginning of a new school year, the need is more evident, and organizers say specific items are harder to come by, so they are hoping for more monetary donations to help fill the gaps.
But it never fails. There's somebody with a weird size that needs something, and I'm going to have to go purchase that. Right now, we can use the extra funds.
The money is also used to help address food insecurities for certain families in need. You can find out how to donate on our website. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz continue their tour of battleground states as Donald Trump holds a news conference.
And in the word of weather, the weekend is knocking on our door. And how does it look? I'll have the answer in the First Alert forecast in a few minutes. Stay with us.